Good morning. Today is Friday. I'm watching some hummingbirds and just enjoying being outside for a minute. The Every Bits Counts challenge has been a challenge this week. I hope that you have had a wonderful week, that you've gotten all the things done that you hope to get done, and if not, just give yourself some grace, because sometimes we're not very realistic with our to-do lists, are we? So hang in there and I'll walk you through what we got done this week. Saturday was not super productive. On Friday, I had to go out of town to help a family member. Got to stay in Pittsburgh, which is what you're looking at here. It was beautiful. Everything went super well and just blessings all around. After that, we went to a birthday party with my kiddos. So it's a blessing to be able to celebrate that with our friends. And on Sunday, I'm gonna give myself some extra grace on that one because, you know, it's the Sabbath, but we went to the state fair. We don't do vacations really, we don't do anything big, so that was just kind of like a fun thing that we get to do in the summertime. So we enjoyed that very much. And then I worked really hard all this week making up for the fact that I did not get anything done on Saturday or Sunday. So here you will see that I am doing our milk. I kind of was joking with myself, it's Milk Monday, because I always get a backlog over the weekend, it seems, and have a lot to deal with on Monday, and it's great. It's a blessing. Yay! I'm sitting here with my boy. And we would both like it if you could like and subscribe. Thank you. Yeah. Being the fancy pants I am, I simply write the date on the masking tape and stick it on the lid of the jars, and that way I can stay organized in the refrigerator, because wasted milk is so sad. It's extra sad whenever you've taken the time to milk the animal and then you have the time of washing all those dishes, and you know, just we don't want all that waste in our house, so we try to stay on top of it. I am dealing with some eggs here. I thought I'd pick some to water glass, to preserve by Waterglassing, to use this summer. And while doing so, I realized I was going to need a new carton, so I wanted to walk you through how our family organizes our eggs so that we make sure we're using our freshest eggs first. I know that there are like spiral things that you can buy where you put your new eggs on top and they come down and so that you're using your oldest first, and that's fine, but usually when looking at those online, you would need more than one of those to accommodate the amount of eggs that our family goes through. So here we have our system that doesn't look very systematic yet, but what we do is we have 4 egg cartons, and we just use old recycled ones, you know, from wherever, or you could buy new ones, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to write on here oldest 1, this one says oldest 2, newest 3, newest 4. So you've got your word to help remind you that 1 means oldest, second oldest, third and fourth. And then what we do is we put our oldest eggs in this container. And then as you go, you just kind of do a little dance, a little shuffle with your eggs. It does take a minute every day when we collect eggs to do this, but it's a system that works for us. It uses the materials we already have. We didn't have to buy anything, and it stores really nicely in our cabinet. We just store our eggs right here in the cabinet next to the stove. Because they are farm fresh eggs and they are unwashed, they can be stored in a cabinet. And you know, you'll see here about 4 dozen eggs. It would take us about 5 days to go through these. So these don't sit at a counter very long. And if I'm baking or something like that, which I do periodically, I have moments where I do more than others, just depending on the season. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the one that says number 3 and I put it in the back. And on top of that is number 4. And then in the front, I put 2. And on top of that, number 1. So that when it's time to get our eggs out, it's easiest to reach this one for cooking and easiest to reach the ones with the newest eggs for when we collect our chicken eggs. And then I have on a basket here some clean eggs that I intend on water glassing. I just picked out some of our cleanest, but it rained recently, so I can't be water glassing those anytime soon. Okay, so apparently Monday is milk day in our house. So here I am making some cheese. I intend on freezing half of this for later on for when our cow's not in milk. And then you'll also see where I've got some quart jars out and I'm putting some milk in there to make some yogurt. These jars will go in a pot of hot water on the stove. If you've seen an older video, I've shown you how to make it in a crock pot. Today we are doing it stovetop. My old crock pot broke, womp womp womp, but this method works for us. Also, these lids are amazing. These reusable lids, I don't know, it took me a long time to buy them. So happy I have them. Also, a Parmesan cheese lid works very well. I'm hoping to water glass some eggs, which I've done in the past with mixed results. And the reason for that is because I had a container that actually had a crack in the bottom and I didn't realize it, and slowly some liquid seeped out over time. So what I'm going to do is, before water glassing these eggs, I'm going to test the container that I'd like to use. I think it would hold at least a dozen, maybe just a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and just add water to it and see if the water holds overnight, and I'll probably wait and water glass those eggs tomorrow and then just continue to add to the solution over time this week. Okay, so I've got my container filled with water. I'm gonna put my lid on it and just set it here on the counter. And let's see, what can I do to see if water is gonna come out of it? Maybe I'll put a sheet of paper under it.
Mom, I know where paper is.
All right, I have a tissue, and I'm gonna dry this off really well so that I know it's not coming from
Your hand.
the side of the bottle or something. I'm just gonna put it in an out of the way place and tuck it away and check it in the morning. It's funny because when I go back to edit these videos, I oftentimes see my lips a-moving and I'm not even talking to y'all. What I'm doing is singing some praise and worship, hallelujah and amen. So having a little fun and loving on the Lord and spending some time with Him in the kitchen. You know, other times I'm spending time with my kids in the kitchen. We'll be chit-chatting about who knows what. So anyway, if you see myself chit-chatting, it could be with the kids, could be with my hubs, or I could just be singing and talking to myself. If you want to hear a little bit more about how I make cheese, go back and watch last week's video. I'll leave a link in the description below. My daughter just told me she'll only eat cheese if she doesn't know it's there. So I'm going to finish up the cheese here and get on with making yogurt. What you don't see here is the fun part where I had to scrub the scalded milk off the bottom of the cheese pot. So next time I'm going to do the yogurt first because it's much easier to clean up, and that way I can just keep things moving a little faster. So what I do here is I put some water in the bottom of the pot. I put a rag in the bottom of the pot. I put my jars in there. They're going to come up to a certain temperature, I think around 180, 190. Take it out of the pot to cool down to about 120. Then you add about 2 tablespoons, I think, of starter yogurt to each jar. I add a couple tablespoons of sugar to each jar and a splash of vanilla, and I stick them in the cooler to incubate. And I just leave them in the cooler overnight, and I check on them about the same time next day, about 24 hours later, and it looks like this, and it's pretty good. Now I'm not sure why, but the top bit is often just a little bit grainy, but once you get past that part, the part underneath is so smooth and thick and delicious. So does this count for every bit counts challenge? Because I think it kind of does, right? Because every bit counts. I'm counting it. I'm counting it. My daughter is a baker. She makes brownies for other people and businesses, and these brownies she felt like didn't really turn out as well as she liked. So she was going to get rid of them, but I decided I was going to keep it for some ice cream. So we're going to go ahead and just throw these in a Ziploc bag, put them in the freezer, and I know they're going to be good in some ice cream. All right, here we are, Tuesday morning in my jammies, breaking beans. My bean breaking helpers are in bed, but that's all right. We're going to get some stuff done, and they can help me when they're ready. I was either going to can some ground beef today, maybe some sloppy joes or taco mix or meatballs, but then my husband surprised me with a bucket of green beans, and he said that the kids may not have picked it very well. We might need to go back and look, and I got another bucket of green beans. So today we're going to can more green beans. Yeah? Let's go. Initially, I was in the garden on my own, but thankfully, two of my beautiful children came out to join me, and we were able to get some more done together. I always think that the beans are such a beautiful green color when you first pour the hot water on them, aren't they? I was able to get 3 canner loads done today, and it's funny how in the moment it just feels like, I wasn't able to do it all. I didn't get it done. But goodness, I got 3 canner loads done. That's good. And then the next day, I got back at it and I finished it up, and I should be happy with that, right? Since I had all that beef out, since I thought I'd be canning beef, I made an instant pot hamburger helper, and I just made extra meat and already cooked it and seasoned it so it'll be ready to go. Okay, it's Wednesday, we're back at it with the beans, and it's also the first day of homeschool, and I am the least organized that I've ever been in our entire homeschooling adventure, but we made it, but it was a crazy kind of day. I've got a Mississippi roast going in the slow cooker, so I just dumped the rest of the beans in there, and I figure this will go okay with dinner tonight, and then I don't have to run the canner again. And you also hear the whirring of the bread machine doing its kneading thing, so we're excited to have some delicious bread tonight too. Today was our first day of homeschool for the year. I had to put on my homeschool shirt, yeah. It says, keep homeschool weird. My husband tells me I'm not actually a very weird homeschool person, but I thought the image was cute. The cottagecore fun stuff. What clues you in that it's evening now? Is it the time? Or is it the fact that my braid's out? Sometimes that braid has just got to go. Some people rip off that bra. For me, it's my hair. My hair comes down. I just can't handle it anymore. So I have decided to go ahead and start some beef broth. I'm going to let that simmer overnight and can it up tomorrow. I do like to throw a splash of apple scrap vinegar in it to help everything like come out of the bones. All that nutrition is supposed to leach out with the aid of the apple scrap vinegar. So we're gonna let that go overnight, and we'll get to canning some broth in the morning. And don't you know we're gonna have some brownies and ice cream tonight. So I've got my ice cream maker out. It is kind of noisy, but I tell you, it works really well. We've had so much good ice cream from this thing. We've had chai tea ice cream, mint ice cream, vanilla, a coffee with chocolate in it, just all kinds of good stuff. Love it. Got it for Christmas one year. So we're going to have some brownies with ice cream, and my daughter went ahead and got some other toppings too, caramel and some strawberry syrup. So yum. Busy mama morning up in here. My youngest daughter has requested chocolate oatmeal. My son has requested milk toast, which we learned about from Boxcar Children. And my eldest daughter, who is in public school and has a brownie business, forgot to make her brownies last night. It was the first day back to school. We had some back to school excitement and paperwork to do, and we both forgot. So I'm going to take care of that for her this morning. That's not something I normally do, but I think, while we're adjusting to a new routine, I don't mind to help her out. So I will be making 2 different breakfasts, brownies, and did we remember I'm also canning beef broth. Busy, busy morning. In addition to taking care of those things, I will also need to run the brownies to her customers, and then we have about a 2-hour drive to go pick up some non-GMO feed for our broiler chickens, and then we're also doing some light homeschooling, so definitely just trying to fit it all in. It just smells like no-bake cookies. Yes, there are healthier breakfasts, but so many times we eat eggs, 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 because it is the farm. And today, with all that I feel like I'm loading up the kids with all of these errands and things that I need to get done. I just wanted to be able to treat them to something. So here we're having a little bit of treats for breakfast. I really love my canner. It works so well. I like that I can twist the little dial thing on the top to face it the direction I need it to face. It came with this wonderful recipe book that has just about everything in it that I could want. Of course, whatever I can't find, I can go dig online, but I'm less likely to lose my recipe book than I am to lose a website, to be honest with you. You ever find a site and you're just like, where in the world was that, whenever you go back to do it again? Anyway, I'm really thankful for this canner, and I do wish I had one more. If you're in need of another canner so that you can do some double duty in your kitchen, I'll leave a link below. Highly recommend it. When my daughter wanted to buy this big bag of flour, I thought it was overkill, and I kind of chuckled in the store, but you know what? She's done it. She went after her dreams. She's killing it. Here's some beef broth coming out of the canner. That is going to be good in the winter. I do wish I would have slowed down a little bit and skimmed some of that fat off. Look at that layer of fat. But that'll be all right. Maybe I'll use it with some beans. Canner load number 2 of beef broth about to go in. I would have been done already if I had a second canner. Goals, yeah? Just a reminder to my friends out there that when you're in a hurry, you are more likely to get hurt. Dag nabbit, I opened the lid the wrong way to the pot of simmering beef broth and I burned my arm. And that steam burn hurts. Beautiful drive today, couldn't have asked for better weather. Grabbed our chicken feed, came back. It looks like my Tatler lid sealed, so that's wonderful. You just pick it up like that if you've never used one of those before. Sometimes in life you just need some quick wins, and today's quick win is mint. Yeah, I'm gonna put up some mint for this Every Bit Counts challenge. My daughter loves to make tea with it. We put it in our ice cream. We've made mint chocolate chip cookies with it before. That's been really yummy. So, it is an absolute mess in this area. But I've got a mint patch back here. Oh, hello birdies. So I'm gonna get in there and hope for no snakes. There are many varieties of mint, and I'm not sure exactly what we have here, but it's absolutely mint. Identifiable by its like purplish square stem, and it has flowers on top. As pretty as they are, you do not want to eat the flowers. You need to clip those off. And if you have too much mint, it may give you some stomach issues, but my daughter will drink mint tea pretty liberally, and she's been okay. But if you are enjoying some mint and you don't know why you're having tummy aches, maybe it's that. Ironically, I think it's also it helps to soothe a tummy ache a little bit too. So I don't know, I guess it can go either way depending on the person. But anyway, this is super easy. All I'm gonna do is string it up and hang it upside down. If you wanna hang it upside down inside a paper bag, that helps to catch any leaves that may fall off in the drying process. Before I hang it upside down, I am going to clip off those flowers though to make sure that they aren't accidentally in there, because usually once it's dry, I just kind of like rip everything off the stem. And I store it in a mason jar and I put it up with our teas and our coffee. And my daughter, like I said, she really enjoys this as a treat. She'll have it more than anyone else, my eldest. But I do like the idea of having it in case coffee prices get kind of crazy and I'm just craving a little treat. That'll be an easy one for today. Just string it up. Anyway, I'm just going to trim these flowers off and bundle it up. My first bundle that I made is probably a little bit big. The other two are a little bit smaller, but I'll just monitor them as they're drying and make sure everything seems to be drying okay. Got my buddy coming for a visit. He loves to visit me outside. Inside too, but outside in particular. He's like, what are you doing out here? Anyhow, the first bundle, like I said, maybe a little bit big. The other two are a little bit smaller. I'm going to hang these upstairs in the loft where it's generally warmer, and I think they'll dry better up there. That's the same place that I hung up the sage that you saw the other day. This one didn't seal. Put that in the fridge. This one did. This one did. Good. Two of the Tatler lids did not seal, so I put those in the refrigerator, and I'm going to use that beef broth to make a beef stew. I've got a bunch of other beef broth that I haven't canned yet with the beef from the bones and some carrots and onions in there, so perhaps I will get to that job tomorrow. But I'm just going to go ahead and wash off these jars because they are pretty messy from where I was kind of pretty messy myself filling them up, and then it just got the whole thing dirty in the canner. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. And if you are participating in the Every Bits challenge, leave a link below. We'll check you out.